How important is sexual purity for young people, young men, young women today?
We live in a very crazy world today when it comes to the subject of sex. And you hear people say, oh, you need to have experience, you don't need to have experience, and all kinds of stuff. And for a young person, I would tell you that if you're able to keep yourself guarded, managed, and you didn't get yourself into all sorts of sexual nuances and expressions and all of that, if you're able to manage that, you would thank yourself later in life that you were able to do that. We live in a world where sexual purity is almost not a conversation anymore. People, especially amongst young people, and not only that, it's not a thing people talk about that much these days. When it comes to young people, my advice is give yourself one gift. A certain gift you can give yourself as a young person, and if you can do that, you will be very happy for it, right? As for instance, it's not just sex now. There are certain things that you should avoid as much as possible. For instance, like smoking. People will always bring around these different things, right? To get you to try something, try this one, or become very serious with alcohol, or become unnecessarily too much with ladies or sex and things like that. You see all of those kinds of things, different vices, the cultism and all of that. If you can avoid all of these things in your youthful seasons, especially your teenage seasons or early 20s, trust me, it's going to affect the whole of your life. The whole of your life. The whole of your existence on earth is going to be affected by these decisions, right? You have clearer thoughts. The way you think about your future is going to be way better. You're going to have, by the time you get married, you're going to appreciate those moments. You would also have good examples to present to your children. You would live out of, for instance, if you're an alcoholic or an addicted person to any of the gambling and things like that, you will save money. You save yourself from several hurts that you don't need in your life. Managing all of those things that come at you these days, not just sex, helps to position your life for the better. You would appreciate yourself if you're able to manage all of these things coming to you. One of my pastors that was a part of my life in my most formative years is late now, Pastor Ezekiel Atang, who pastors God's House of Refuge. One of his common statements is never allow your erection determine your direction. In life, you will always meet people who will be very attractive to you. And if you're a normal human being, sometimes you feel aroused and all of that. But in all of those moments, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You should have it firmly in your mind that as a man, as a young man who's going somewhere to happen, your erection should not control your direction. And again, if you're able to make that a firm decision in your value system, you will go far. Trust me, you will go far, because every day around the place, all over the world, wherever you go to, you will always meet people who probably would challenge your erection, but it shouldn't be your direction. What's the benefit of sexual purity? Without being spiritual, of course, we know that if you're someone of faith, that area of your life is also important. If, for instance, if you're a Christian, you know that God expects you to manage that space of your life. Number two, it also helps you to manage your distractions, because once you get into that life and always want that, there's almost no end in sight to that. You always want to explore and continue to go.
Are you speaking from experience?
Another benefit is that it helps you from so much of the thing of, by the time you're married, you're having all sorts of expectations all over the place. I know I've heard people say, oh, I need to test him to, or test her to know how this is, but you always, there are ways to do that. You don't have to go through all of that. And also your marriage, you want to go into marriage with some good examples for yourself, for your children, for your home, and not having crazy expectations about your partner.